agency under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Now, recently, they had an event in Lagos which concerns the diaspora. It was to talk about maximizing the benefits of diaspora returnees for national development. My colleague in NTA Lagos sent us this report.
The establishment of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission is to effectively promote and harness the resources and capacity of Nigerians in the diaspora for the growth and development of the nation. The Commission is seeking to partner diasporans in all fields of human endeavor to maximize their potentials. Executive Chairman, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, who was represented, said Nigeria realized billions of dollars from its citizens in diaspora in 2018, which contributed to the national budget and the growth of the annual GDP.
As the global space continues to shrink due to technological advancement, it is hoped that the economies of African countries will be impacted positively by their diaspora population, who are at the cutting edge of technology for their development. They can serve as the catalyst and change agents for development in their countries of origin.
Nigerian diaspora returnees, however, highlight some challenges faced by other Nigerians abroad.
What the diaspora Nigerians are really clamoring for is to let their voices be heard. If their voices are heard, then of course they'll have more of an impact in what goes on in Nigeria and even with all the other bilateral countries. We need to be allowed to vote. That's number one thing on the diaspora's mind. If we're allowed to vote, definitely, with our population globally, people all over the world who are of Nigerian descent, if they are allowed to vote, then of course that will make a big impact as to who becomes our next president or governor or whatever you might have. Also, in their positions right now, they want to be engaged. We don't want government or other Nigerians to see us as just people who remit to the nation, through the foreign exchange and all. Even though the remittances are quite significant, but they're not cash cows. They need to be given avenues where they can invest some of their funds in Nigeria for national development. They need to be engaged as technical experts who can actually come, and they need to be listened to. A lot of diasporans have come, they've laid out blueprints for government as to what to do, what's best practice globally. However, these things are not followed through. So that's a bit discouraging. So those are
we're in the country to invest and improve the economy of the country. And as a diaspora, I expect the Commission to help other diasporans, to encourage them with a trust them to come back, invest, and improve on the economy of the country.
Statistics by the Commission indicates that 7 states have established diaspora focal points with the aim of reaching the grassroots.
To foster the capacity of the stakeholder organizations, institutions, to create an enabling environment for more effective diaspora engagement.
What we, however, intend to achieve is empower those who deal with migrants, with our Nigerian diaspora, how better they can handle them. It's a subsector of the migration issue, really. What we're looking at is how do we handle our diaspora such that they bring value in a coordinated manner into our development process. That is the focus.
Okay. This training has actually exposed my understanding on the topic of the synergy that we have between the diasporans and the Commission and the plans that the policy has put in place for all diasporans to at least benefit from their country of origin, and the kind of platforms that's been created to make sure that their investments are secured, and the fact that they will not be disenfranchised in their future endeavors with the country.
And the issue of diaspora is so critical that any country that is looking towards developing should actually key into the potential of its diaspora. So as a practitioner of diaspora, I expect that at the end of this training, I'll be more equipped to be able to deal with this issue.
This training is a process in ensuring Nigeria does not lose out completely on skills and talent development.
Now, as you know, Nigerians are all over the world earning their living and, of course, contributing to their host communities. Recently, we had a Nigerian from Germany that has been living in that country for over a decade. He came to Nigeria to talk about a lot of issues. We engaged him at the Nigerian Television Authority, and this is the details of our discussion.
My name is Ikechukwu George Okafor. I'm a consultant, and I'm based in Germany.
Okay, now, how long have you been in Germany?
I went to Germany towards the tail end of 2001, I think October to be precise, 2001. That was when I went to Germany.
Okay. What took you to Germany?
I studied there the first time, so I did my first degree and my master's, and then now I'm pursuing my PhD. But due to time constraint and work, I kind of less have neglected it for the meantime.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how is life there, and was the intention to remain in Germany or to study and come back, and what sort?
Well, due to I grew up in the north, in Sokoto to be precise, and due to my love for my environment, I at the initial up to this long, but I never forgot where my base is, which is actually I'm Igbo, but I was raised in the north, and that makes Nigeria very, very close to my heart. So I have plans. I've always had plans at the back of my mind to come back to Nigeria and settle down.
Yeah. So you say you like the place and its people. Tell me what's good about them and that society.
Well, like every other place, at the first time it's a kind of a small cultural shock. So, but because there are certain things, like what's like especially the way the elderly interact with the younger ones. For me, at the initial stage, was not very, very easy to kind of cope with. But with time, I come to realize that there's no point comparing two cultures. So I started looking at the people, the way they live their own life, and not comparing it with the way we live our own life here. So, and I found out that the people, if you understand them, they're very, very open. So, and they're very direct, and the Sokoto people are very direct too. So, and I did have problems with that, and in fact, it really helped me a lot. So, and they encourage too. If they see you want to help yourself, they will give you the opportunity to develop yourself. So, and I appreciated that. Yeah.
Now, for there are quite a number of Nigerians in Germany. What's their life like? What's the interaction like? What's the general mood for Nigerians there?
Well, I would say the general mood for Nigerians there, I would say, is positive. Except for those, because like I said, you can't transfer what you bring from your own society to a different society. So except those who expect Germany to be an extended version of Nigeria is going to be problematic. So, but for those who really understand that they have to work legally or find a means of earning their livelihood, most of them, I think they are really enjoying the society because it offers you all the possibility to do whatever you want to do.
Now, a senior official came to Nigeria to say that they were planning to deport how many thousands of Nigerians that are staying in Germany illegally. Is that really a problem? Because we spoke with the Nigerian ambassador to Germany later on, who said, well, they have their doubts that some people have not been verified to be Nigerians, and they had issues with that. So tell me about this illegal migration to Germany. How big a problem is it?
Yeah, I think there are so many facets to it. There's the political side of it and the technical side of it. So because you cannot establish the origin of somebody based on how he speaks or who you think he is. So because that's actually the point I think the ambassador was trying to make, because some of these Nigerians they don't have any documents that authenticates them to be Nigerians. Because I speak Hausa, I also speak Igbo and put a little bit of Yoruba. It doesn't make me to be maybe Yoruba, for instance. So I think that's the issue he's trying to emphasize on, because sometimes I've also heard, I cannot verify, that sometimes people who are believed or thought to be Nigerians are forcefully deported to Nigeria. And I think this is the point I think the Nigerian government should do something about, because it's not that we are condoning or we are encouraging illegal immigration, but before you send somebody to somebody's country, you have to establish his origin. So I think the ambassador is really right on that point, because I've heard it too. Because so many people are being deported just on the mere hearsay that they are Nigerians, so without really establishing the fact.
Okay, then so what's the general conduct of Nigerians that you know in Germany, and is there any stereotyping of Nigerians for maybe crime or anything? What's the reception generally?
Well, the stereotype, like the one I can always talk about, we are happy people. So, and for the Germans, they are very reserved, very calm. We talk loud. So, and maybe these are one of the stereotypes. But the issue of crime, I think the way it's been represented, it's been blown out of proportion. It is not, because sometimes you see somebody from maybe neighboring countries, because they have Nigerian friends. So, and that same comes back to the same issue of deporting people, because you see people with Nigerian friends and maybe they talk the way we do and they just conclude maybe they are Nigerians, and if he's arrested for a crime and he's within the Nigerians, he will be concluded to be Nigerians. So sometimes it's very, very difficult, and this affects the statistics, because if once it's written that the person arrested is a Nigerian, you cannot change it. It's going to take a very long time. So I'm not saying there are no Nigerians that are engaged in some illegalities in Germany, but I'm of the opinion that it's totally out of proportion. It's exaggerated.
There have been consistent calls for Nigerians in the diaspora to invest their resources back in the country and, of course, to attract further foreign investment into the country. Now, what will it take for Nigerians to invest their monies and, of course, their wealth in Nigeria? This is exactly the question that Joy Osiagu, my colleague, put to some Nigerians in the diaspora based in the United States.
I have a friend in Germany who recently said, I'm making so much money and I'm paying it all in tax. I want to put it back in humanitarian support. And he says, what can I do in Nigeria? I said, since you are in the health sector, let's take women and children situation in Nigeria. There must be some platform where this kind of people can verify whatever you are saying and say, yes, what this gentleman is saying, this lady is saying is true.
When you are going to Nigeria to meet with government, don't go with that arrogance. Because those in Nigeria are intelligent too. You are meeting people who are also very, very intelligent like you. So that was why Abike Dabiri Erewa was emphasizing on the issue of partnership.
We have to have a structure to move forward. It's like a businessman trying to get consensus of your customer before you build a business. We're in a global world competing. India is where it is today in the world global remittance because of its government backing it. Nigeria needs to compete effectively. What I say, we're stuck in the 20 billion every year and every year. We need to move it forward. To move it forward, we need to have those organizations very functional to work. They need to be very functional so that Nigerians that want to invest in medical, in hospital, in agricultural, people that don't even have the entrepreneurial spirit can also invest their idle money that is laying idle in America into government bonds and treasury bills that is giving enormous interest, 15%, 17%. They don't have to do anything.
Government asks us to bring investors. We come in with investors. What are the policies? The policies change every now and then. The policy we have, the policy of different government changing hand, you have to look at what we call political risk insurance. We don't have, and it makes the investment costly.
How do we use this vehicle to have a national leadership, even for North America, all the organizations that are here, that we have a forum? And that would be where we can go to network with our councillors, councillor generals, and the missions, and then they will be the one going to the commission. Because already all of us are doing program in Nigeria, voluntary. And then the money we are talking about, 28 billion, is more than that. And when you look at most of the 28 billion, it's going towards social services, not infrastructure. And as an educator, what we can do that doesn't cost us anything is to transfer skills.
Nigeria doesn't have any business receiving aid. Rather, the diasporans should, thankfully, I hope through this vehicle, be able to invest in critical areas of the economy. Infrastructure, housing provision. Those will have multiplier effects on unemployment and other SMEs.
The role of the diaspora is to ask what you can do for your country, not what your country can do for you. And not where you miss the whole objective of what a diasporan is supposed to do for their country. Don't go on the mindset of let me go there and also share money and steal money. You go there with the intention of helping your country because the government cannot do it all by itself.
Still in the United States, that country boasts of a lot of Nigerian experts who are working and doing Nigeria very proud in the United States of America. My colleague Cecil Egbele, who was recently in the United States, took up one of them, and here is their discussion.
Tell us about life as a Nigerian, and tell us how you see other Nigerians living here. Would you want to advise many who think coming to the US is the next big thing to take the next flight down here? What would you want to say to such people?
Well, for somebody that is in Nigeria and have the opportunity to come to the United States, I encourage them, if they can, definitely come, depending on what is going on for them in Nigeria. If you have a good job and you're doing well in Nigeria, you might as well stay over there. It's not all rosy like you think over here in the United States. It takes a lot of work, and there's a lot of effort. There's a lot of hard work that goes into every success. So you just have to be ready to work hard, whether you're in Nigeria or here. But the good thing is there's a lot more opportunities in the United States. So if you have the ability to come and you're ready to work hard, God bless your heart, come over, work hard, but nothing comes for free.
What would you say are some of the challenges Nigerians face when they come here?
Most Nigerians, when we come here, because it's a new place and we come with the wrong mindset. We come here because we think that once we get here, there's a pile of cash waiting for you, or everything is all rosy, or because of what we see on the TV, so we get the wrong perception of things. And when we get here, it becomes really tough for us to adjust to reality. And it's just the growing pains. And when everybody comes here, we go through the hardship, we go through the stages of establishing yourself. You might be sharing a room with somebody. It might be working double, have 2 jobs, or it might be, maybe not having a car and walking long distances so you can catch a bus and go to work. But if you understand the American system and you learn and you know what you need to do so you can get to the next level, there's a lot of opportunities here. You can go to school, you can have your own business, or you can have a trade. no matter whatever you want to do, as long as you put your mind and heart into it, I think you will succeed if you're honest and you're not trying to take a shortcut.
Are there anything discriminatory amongst towards Africans, Nigerians, or foreigners in this land?
Definitely. There's always, there's always discrimination here and there, but I believe there's no perfect person. You just don't go out there looking for that. I just think that you just have to know what your goal is and focus on your goal and see those things as just little side distractions that you don't want to focus on, and just keep on going on, because it's never going to stop. There's always going to be discrimination here and there, but don't target anybody or don't go out there and mind that people are trying to discriminate you, because the only person that you're gonna basically stop is yourself when you think like that. Just think that everybody is for you, and if they're not for you, that's your own problem, and just keep on moving.
And just before I let you go, any plans of coming back home and do something and contribute your quota to national and economic development?
Absolutely. I think the most important thing is if you're in America and you're doing well and you make it, it's always good to give back. It's always good. Because if Nigeria was great, we will not have a lot of people here struggling, or a lot of people always trying to get a visa to come over here and stay. And I think the most important thing is if anybody can invest on our young kid and the younger generation coming up, especially teach them a positive mindset and put them in such a way that no matter where they find themselves, they will succeed. Definitely. Hopefully, one of these days I'll probably go back there, hopefully start some kind of scholarship organization or whatever that can impact the younger generation positively.
Let's now take some diaspora news. The Nigerians in Diaspora Commission has made clarifications over a viral video in the social media insinuating that the staff of the Nigerian embassy in Rome, Italy, allegedly assaulted a Nigerian national inside the premises of the embassy. A statement by the commission says the facts were misrepresented in the said video. It says that the lady, who is simply identified as Patience, is alleged to be involved with drugs, which has affected her mental well-being. Over time, she has developed the habit of coming around the embassy to harass both visitors, its officials, and other Nigerians. Ireland has elected a Nigerian, Rotimi Adebari, as its first black mayor. This is the latest sign of how rapid immigration is changing in this once all-white nation. Rotimi Adebari, a Nigerian who arrived in Ireland 7 years ago as an asylum seeker, Portlois, being an independent politician on Portlois Town Council since 2004, was backed by both the right-wing and the left-wing parties. Adebari is quoted to have called the election a great honor, which has made him the #1 citizen of the town. And that has been our package for this week. We thank you very much for being with us. We invite you to join us next time for another edition. On behalf of all the production crew, I am Makut Simon Macham. Thanking you again for being with us.
Stress is a normal physical response to an event that makes your nervous system feel threatened at the perception of danger, whether real or imagined, giving your body automatic mobilization process known as the fight, flight, or freeze response. This automobilization response, or stress, is designed to protect your body. When it is working well, it helps you stay focused, energetic, and alert. In an emergency, it spurs you into action to defend yourself. Stress, however, becomes worrisome when it is overwhelming. It can damage your health, your mood, your productivity, relationship, and even your quality of life. Stress is chiefly induced by environmental conditions or stimulus and emotional instability. Work-related stress is the second most commonly reported condition in the self-reported work-related illness. According to research results between 2011 and 2012, an estimated 428,000 workers suffered from work stress. Stress affects different people in different ways, but generally, the chemicals that are released by the body as a result of stress can build up over time and cause various mental and physical symptoms. These include irritability, anger, depression, anxiety, food cravings, lack of appetite, headaches, sleep difficulty, and the list is endless. How one handles one's stress depends on the causes and the symptoms, but it is imperative to note that once the pressure or threat has passed, your stress hormone level will usually return to normal.
Imagine a station where you access information. Think of a station that creates awareness for national development. Imagine a station that prepares you for a bright and greater future. A station for all ages. Documentaries, classroom and television, events coverage, children's programs and variety shows. Always stay tuned to NTA Knowledge on the StarTimes platform, channel 359. For partnership, sponsorship and advert placements, contact us on NTA Knowledge. NTA Knowledge, learning to broaden horizon.
Yes. Now my dirty they smell like this. Now to throw away am quick. This kind smell fit make man sick. That woman throw away dirty for ground. Me sef go do the same this time around. Hold up.
See, to do this kind badness by the book, you make sure say person no dey look. And then you drop am nicely, bros. Nothing will happen. Trust me.
See, if you throw away dirty for ground, another person sef throw away dirty. Everybody come begin to throw away dirty for ground. Everywhere go come dey smell. Gutter go block, road go block. And you will like to dey dab. I say no more dabbing for you be that too.
Welcome to the news update at 11. I'm Rhoda Anonam. President Muhammadu Buhari has restated Nigeria's unwavering commitment towards supporting genuine efforts at re-establishing political stability in neighboring Benin Republic. This was when he granted audience to the Beninois leader, President Patrice Talon. Members of the National Economic Council have been tasked to fashion out effective strategies towards lifting the less privileged Nigerians out of poverty and secure the nation's future for sustainable growth and development. President Buhari, who threw the challenge while inaugurating the National Economic Council, said Paying special attention to issues of security, education, health and agriculture is critical towards guaranteeing a peaceful and prosperous Nigeria.
To secure the territorial integrity of our nation while confronting the remnants of terrorists, bandits and other criminals across the country. There must be collective and deliberate efforts by all to improve the security of lives and properties across the country. You can definitely make a difference, not just by assisting the security agencies in your respective states, but also by keenly pursuing policies and programs that forestall communal, tribal, religious, and societal conflicts.
Finally, the Nigerian economy now looks promising, and investors across the globe are seeing the country as a fertile land for investment, so none wants to be left out. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, receiving a delegation of French business community, assures investors of a better deal from governments, its agencies, and the good people of the country.
For my company is to better understand all about the market, not only the consumers, but the regulation, the right people to know, to facilitate the local settlements of a potential facility, and to put a highlight on the contribution, what is possible for France to do in the dairy sector, and to contribute to the development of this sector locally in Nigeria.
Nigeria's initiative of ease of doing business is part of understanding the agencies that are involved, the processes that are involved, and the opportunities, and also to a large extent the responsibilities. It's a two-way relationship, France, Nigeria, Nigeria, France.
And those are the top stories trending at this hour. Join us much later for more news update. I'm Rhoda Anonam.
This is the network service of the NTA.
As a human development person is, how can I invest in social enterprises? How can I get the right people to drive that vision? And how do our people benefit? And I say Aspire is really making me feel good, irrespective of today's results.
Aspire there with Kano pillars are falling. I'm Ignis. Let me start with pillars. They really show that yes, there are stuffs against Aspire FC. But I asked the funders, are you disappointed in the result? He said no. Now you have been following the development in that match. You saw what happened, and you saw Kano Pillars taking the order of the day.
Yeah, Clement, Kano Pillars actually took charge. It's expected. They are one of the top clubs in the country. If you go by the achievement, past and recent, they just ended the league, finishing second behind Eimba. If Aspire had won, you would say there was an upset, but they did not give room for an upset. They showed experience, they showed tact, they showed discipline, they showed they were a team. They are a team that a bunch that has been there, that know the importance of winning, especially seeing the need. Maybe they will try to see, since they lost the Nigeria Professional League title, that would have made it their fifth title. They wanted to aim if they can get the Confederations Cup as consolation, even though they have the CAF Champions League in their kitty already. I think the two teams were of no match. Actually, it showed on the pitch. But I'm happy that Okeke, the proprietor of Aspire, came out to say that it's not really all about winning. It's about nurturing a team for the future. It's about growing the talents of the young players who he hopes will metamorphosize into greater players in the future, giving them opportunities like you see in the Challenge Cup. That's why it's called Challenge Cup. That's why we know it as when we're growing up those days. It's the Challenge Cup. It means if those days stationary stores were playing Al Salamu Rocks of Ilorin, or you had teams in Iwan National playing an unknown quantity, Abiola Babes or whatever, any team can beat them. You know, that's what it's all about. But I'm happy for Kano Pillars. They show that they are still in form, the form they have displayed in the Premier League. Okay, another result, a play over the weekend, we saw the Enyimba winning 3-1. As Nasarawa United, they show their stuff, they show their dominance over these upcoming clubs by winning the round of 64.
Yeah, what do you expect? An El Kanemi Warriors side who have actually been in the MPFL for a number of times. Only recently they got relegated. Nobody actually gave Police Osogbo any chance against El Kanemi Warriors, and of course they were able to live up to their billions. Sunshine Stars and later as well, it also produced some sort of class. A lot of people actually thought it was going to be a smooth sail for Sunshine Stars against, but it wasn't meant to be, because those guys actually give them a good run for their money. And we're gradually beginning to see that football these days, it's very most should I say, it's always very difficult to say there are underdogs in football these days, and I'm sure that was what actually played out in the game between Sunshine the Zomo team. But be that as it may, I think the first round, the round of 64 of the ITO Cup, have actually produced some sterling performances. Most of the teams, a lot of people thought should be grinding out results, they actually gave out or actually churn out those results as expected, or as it was quite anticipated of them. And then going